I chose a career in the fire service because it was something that I could do to help the public, to help people.
There was a neighbor in my neighborhood growing up. His name was Reverend Marcus. He was actually the first black paramedic in the Baltimore City Fire Department. And he came through the neighborhood, and when Anne Arundel County started hiring back in 1984, and talked us into what a great career the fire service was.
A lot of family in the fire service, uncle and a cousin out in Illinois, and they kind of led me on the road here. I grew up around it, so I have lots of memories of growing up in the firehouse.
My father was an Anne Arundel County firefighter, and having that growing up inspired me to be a firefighter as well.
I have always wanted to be a firefighter, and when I reached the age where I wanted to make this a career, I started testing around the state and the different metropolitan areas, and I was lucky enough to come work here.
Okay, I was in the military, and in the military I wanted to be a nurse, but I'm never an indoorsy type of person. So I took basic first aid while I was in the Army. I got out. I actually heard about it being an Arundel medic on the news one night on Channel 13. I was like, okay, that's cool. I called up, and 6 years later, here I am.
To be a firefighter, number one, you have to be in very good physical shape. Number two, you have to be compassionate. Have to be a very good team player, because there's a lot of teamwork that you're playing with.
You need to have the ability to work well with others. You need to have the ability to trust people, because you are trusting people with your life.
Dedication, hard work, to be physically fit. It's a great team-oriented career.
I guess that's a good way to approach it, is to go in open-minded and know ahead of time that this is what you want to do.
For me, being female, it took a heck of a lot of working out. It took a lot of dedication. But I think you also have to have it inside where you want to help people, because that's what we do mainly. You know, we're here to help our fellow citizens. So you've got to have that drive and the desire to want to do that, because you're not going to get rich at this job.
Not everybody has the mindset to come in and see the things we do and do the things we do. I think that's one of the most important things, knowing what you're getting into.
It takes a person who's willing to learn something different every day. It is a very demanding job, but it's very rewarding.
It's 6 months of training at the Department's Academy, where they take the entry-level citizen person and bring them up to speed with combating fires and responding to emergencies.
It'll allow you to, with your 3 days off, to attend college classes. There's also the training from the fire department side of Maryland Fire Rescue Institute. There's all sorts of other seminars and classes that can be acquired during your career that will help you to advance up the ladder to a higher position.
Almost like a boot camp type atmosphere. For those that have been in the military, you come in and you need to be disciplined, you're going to work hard.
It is challenging, but I feel it's a very good representation of what you do on the job.
The academy was very structured. We lined up in the morning, we marched down the hill, and waited for our recruit training officers to address us, and then we would disperse into our classrooms wherever we had to go to start our learning for the day. During the day we would sit in the classroom for part of the academy almost all day, and then we would do PT in the afternoon. PT was rigorous, a lot of running, a lot of body weight exercises. And then later in the academy, we got to do a lot of hands-on stuff. It was a little bit less classroom, a little more hands-on. It was a good mix.
It was very rewarding. At the end, you take someone who's off the street, who doesn't know anything about combating a fire or responding lights and sirens to an emergency, and then you bring them up to speed, and then you're able to go out and mitigate an emergency incident or operate safely on a fire ground, and it's very rewarding.
You know, it's something where you have to work together. You know, most people describe the fire service as having a second family.
Most calls, more of the serious ones, you find to be challenging, but like I said before, you're never alone. There's always, you always have people there with you to say, okay, well, let's do this instead of this. This works better than this, and stuff like that.
The job is physically and mentally challenging. Obviously, once you go out on an emergency scene or fire, you can operate anywhere from an hour to several hours. And that obviously requires good physical condition as well as mentally. Obviously, we're working a 24-hour shift. It affords us, we have to get up sometimes at night and respond to incidents, and that requires you to go from 0 to 60 in a very compressed time frame. You have to remember medication dosages that we're administering to patients, or what size hose line you're going to need to combat a fire, or what do you need to extricate someone from the car in the middle of the night. And those are things that we have to, we're going through our mind as we're responding to the incident.
So there are many avenues you can take if you become an Anne Arundel County firefighter, if you're interested. The position that I hold is captain in suppression. I am actually in the fire station and respond on calls.
What's really nice about a career in the fire service is that you do become a firefighter, but also in Anne Arundel County you have to become an emergency medical technician. And you could take that and become a paramedic. You can advance your career and your education that way. This is the 911 center, so you can transfer in here and get the feel of what it feels like to actually assist people over a telephone. There are also other fields that you can get into. If you like to teach, you can get into the training academy and teach fire academy classes. You can become a fire marshal, where you would actually go out, inspect daycare, inspect new buildings. And then you can also become a fire investigator, which is an arson investigator, where you would actually go out and investigate the origin of fires.
Well, I came into the department and firefighter and EMTB. Immediately after that I went to paramedic school, started doing paramedic, and then I got into FIB and went to the police academy.
Yeah, we come on duty, report for duty at 0700 in the morning, and I'm relieved the next morning at 0700.
So all the schedules are very doable. It does take some adjustment, but I prefer it far to any Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and dealing with traffic both ways 10 times a week.
But it varies to station. At a very busy station, yes, you are.
I mean, some stations you're just out the door every hour, on the hour, but sometimes you're, you have a little bit of downtime, and then you go out and do inspections and, public relations, show kids the fire engine and everything.
It just gives me a warmth just to hear that you've been able to make a difference in someone's life. Just people don't have to, they'll come up later on, they'll say thank you, they'll see me somewhere, but they don't do no more than blow the horns. Hey, how are you, firefighter County?
It's not just a job. I'm going to work. I'm going somewhere that I love to go to. It's not, oh gosh, I got to go to work today. It's very stable, and that's my big thing.
You meet a lot of great people in this job, whether they're civilians, co-workers. You just meet a lot of great people. Sometimes you meet people in their worst circumstances, but if you come out and help them, they sometimes become some of your best friends.
It was probably around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they came back from dinner and they walked into the house, and her father literally dropped dead. So I was the one that fielded the 911 call, and and continued to instruct her how to do CPR until our units got there.
Simple call. One time during the winter, somebody's dog went under their porch, found its way into the foundation of their house, and they couldn't be happier with the fact that we cut a hole in their kitchen floor and pulled their dog out from underneath the foundation. Not too many jobs can say they put a hole in somebody's house, pulled their dog out, and the homeowner was happy that you put a hole in their house.
When somebody looks at you with a very sincere look in their eyes and in their face and says, thank you.